Good morning and welcome. Welcome to my live stream, Fight CPS with Bob Pace. It's a warm welcome, and I know you found me on Facebook, Fight CPS with Bob Pace. The other show I have on is Fight CPS, Stop Taking Our Children. When you find me on Facebook, you click the link, it'll take you to this YouTube channel. This one is Fight CPS with Bob Pace. I'm your host, and I've been doing this now for 19 months. I started in October of 2023, and I do this regularly twice a day, 14 times a week. And I've talked to over 1,700 people from around the world. There's a total of 23 countries that have participated, and one of them, of course, is the United States. Now, the other countries are Indonesia, Bangladesh, India, up in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia and Libya, and then over to Africa, we have Liberia, and then Sudan, and then on the West Coast, Central is Republic of Congo, and then we got Rwanda, then down to Mozambique, and then to several provinces in South Africa. Then up to Europe, we got England, Scotland, Wales, Denmark, and Sweden. Across the pond to North America, I have Canada and 4 provinces there. All 50 states has been represented. Somebody from call from each state, some of more than one state. And also have the District of Columbia. Then south of the border, I have Mexico. And then down south, north of Brazil, on the east coast, I have Grenada. Then across the South Pacific, I got New Zealand, and the land down under Australia, and several states there in Australia. So it is a well-rounded group of people, but everybody has one thing in common. They're going through a hard time financially. It's the worst time to be in because you don't have money to fight CPS, and it takes a good attorney, which of course takes good money. Now, I have an attorney that would gladly take on your case. I had hired him. He's Vincent W. Davis. He has had 39 years of fighting CPS and got back thousands of children. He's schooled and educated and licensed in juvenile law, family law, and dependency law. He's a whole gamut there. And he's a pit bull of a fighter. He's a trial attorney. And he's also done civil lawsuits against CPS, both in state court and federal court, and won back millions of dollars. So he's the real deal. So you should try to talk to him. I know he's in LA County, California, and his retainer is $5,000. It's $500 a month. And with that being said, it is hard for you guys to come up with that kind of money. But like open heart surgery, that's how bad CPS is to fight them. They are so bad. They're not honest. They lie. They in foster care, the children are maltreated. They do retaliation. There's no accountability for them. There's no board of directors, supervisors, watchdogs for them. And I know that Social Security is being investigated by DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, but there's a lot of heat from the social services, and so I don't know how far they're going to get into it or whether they'll get to the CPS problems that a lot of you have told me about. CPS is corrupt in a lot of different areas. There are many rogue out there. Now, to be on this show, you have several ways, and I just noticed that we have Cooking with CR Senior. You've been on before, and does Mr. Davis work in North Carolina? He'll work in any state. All you have to do is tell me about your case and what city and county and so forth, and I get you a quote. The other day, someone wanted some help in Georgia. It was $125,000 for the retainer. And it looks like we got a call this morning. Good morning and welcome to my live stream. This is Bob Pace here fighting CPS. Do you have a story to tell or do you have a question to ask?
All right. Are we live here?
Yeah, we are.
Oh, awesome. I spoke up and had my coffee.
Oh, okay.
This is Ed freed up from East Coast.
Yeah, no, I know
Kentucky.
from Maine. You've called in a bunch of times and wrote many text messages. Welcome back, Ed.
Yeah. How you doing?
Oh, okay. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right, I reckon.
Okay, all right.
So I just tell my story here. It's a long one, though. We got enough time.
Well, I have right
Talk
now.
about it.
I have about a half an hour. It's 37 minutes. Excuse me, it's 5 minutes. So I have 55 minutes left of my live stream.
Okay, remember I was telling you it was a DUI? I was living up in the state of Maine, up by Canada, Presque Isle, Maine, Caribou specifically. So then a car wreck, go to the hospital. I'm in a coma for 3 weeks.
Right.
I don't know nothing about being in the hospital besides what the medical records say. When I first get there, the ambulance says I went through some pine trees, went down in a creek, half my car was in the creek. They had to snap on things to wake me up. Said I was
Right.
major head trauma.
Now, my question on there: were the kids with you when you fell asleep and ran off the road?
No, they was home safe with Mom.
Oh, okay. So the part with the CPS didn't get started till later after your accident, right?
Correct, but when I woke up.
Oh, okay.
So when I first went to the hospital, the first doctor said there wasn't nothing wrong with me. They said I was going to sober up and go home.
Okay.
That doctor went off shift. Another doctor came in. They readmitted me to emergency because I had emergency surgery on my ruptured gallbladder, fractured nose, broken nose, fractured sternum, broken jaw, wired my mouth shut, cracked ribs. So I was messed up. I was pretty banged up. So when I wake up, apparently from the time that the first doctor said there was nothing wrong with me, they was going to release me the next day. But then they had to readmit me because I had emergency surgery and all them issues. Well, apparently there was a nurse going down a list of drugs, and she said I said yes to a bath salt. Well, they can't just get the results right away. They have to send off for it. By the time I woke up 3 weeks later, they had already got them. They established there was no bath salts. But in the time I was in a coma, they was talking to in-laws. My ex's, she had a child with someone else, her in-laws, and talked real bad about me and stuff. So they thought that I was this big horrible person.
Yes.
So when I woke up, she asked me to sign my medical records over, established there was no bath salts. She said, we'll fill the case. I said, obviously, because the doctor even said there was none. They got the test results back. I only had cannabinoids and alcohol in my system. Well, about 5 days later, after I got out, they called me down to the fire department. Long story short, took my kids. A month later, I linked up with Kathleen Arthur from out in the 9th District. She told me about the right to lie case. I cited that because I finally got my emergency protection order. So they took my kids due to bath salt use and possible sexual abuse. Something that the FBI already investigated. We never even knew about it. It happened in 2014 or 15 when the in-laws tried to say we human trafficked my ex's kid and did all kinds of crazy stuff. But the FBI investigated it. They said they was full of shit. So that didn't happen.
Let's watch our language on the shore, please, because it's a family show here, so we have to watch your language.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
That's okay.
So when we I finally get the emergency protection order saying that what they took my kids for, I'd already linked up with Kathleen Arthur, and they took my children saying I was endangering them to bath salt use and possible sexual abuse.
Now, wait a second. Now, how does that relate to your accident? How does this injury to your accident relate to the CPS being involved?
Because they said I was on bath salts. They said I came in intoxicated due to bath salts.
What is bath off? What is bath off?
I don't. It's stuff women put in jacuzzi tubs and stuff.
What is it? Is the drug they take to get high?
People smoke that stuff. Yeah, people smoke that stuff. You'd be amazed.
Okay. Did you do a drug test when they suspected that?
Yeah, they did a drug test because I was in the coma.
Right. Well, did they find anything? Did they find anything?
Just cannabinoids and alcohol. But in the state of Maine, you're allowed to grow your own smoke. Well, since then.
Oh, okay.
I didn't do that. Wasn't nothing illegal. Cannabinoids and alcohol is only in my system.
Well,
They knew it.
can children do that same stuff themselves, or is there an age limit with that smoking?
Mine was 5 and under.
Well, here's what I'm saying is that the law very clearly says that children cannot smoke marijuana. Okay, and so they can get you for neglected, even though it's legal in the state and you can smoke it, you cannot smoke it around your children. So the stuff that they found you in your system, could your kids smoke that stuff, or is that against the law?
No.
Okay. So then why were they? Okay, so why were you doing that when you know it's against the law?
I never smoked Basol. That's the whole point.
Oh, you said you were tested positive for Basol.
No.
Okay. So when they did the drug test, they didn't find anything in your system.
No, just marijuana and alcohol.
Oh, okay. Well,
on the same page of my toxicology report, if you go down like 3 paragraphs down, it's got some notes. Got some nurse's notes that says I came in from intoxicated with bath salt use, intoxicated with bath salt and alcohol on the notes, but on the same page it has my toxicology report clearly states there was nothing but cannabinoids and alcohol. So when I went to court, when I got that paper, found out that it was that they lied in the protection order to gain custody of the kids. I took it to my first attorney. He recused himself. Again, another one. I showed it to him. He didn't want to bring it up. I fired him. I brought it up. When I fired him. And I said, look, here's my toxicology report. There was no bath salts. They knew there was no bath salts. They put this in emergency protection order to take my children. Why is this case still going on? So they're supposed to have your kids back or have you at trial in 4 months. 4 months we get there. I'm pro se. They're trying to bargain what I say. Can we just keep your kids for 60 more days? I said no. 30 more days. I said no. I want to go in the courtroom and talk to the judge. We go in there, and well, it was Friday. Court was Monday. My ex's attorney called me on Friday and said, "Hey Ed, the state just dropped off 3,500 pages of documents for your case. I'm gonna have to ask for continuance." I didn't know it then, but I know it now why he did that. I still didn't want a continuance, but they got one. But he did that because they've got 4 months to give you your children back or have you at trial. And when we get to trial that day, at 4 months, they didn't. I walked into the courtroom. The only person who was in there was Chief Martin. That's the guy that pulled me out of the car wreck. They didn't have no case. They knew there was no case. The only case was that they committed perjury and fabricated evidence to take my children. So we get up there, everybody's talking, and my ex's lawyer comes up and says, "Hey, they just dropped off all this paperwork on Friday on my desk. I need a continuance." The judge grants me a continuance. I said, "I don't want a continuance. I'm ready now. We're ready now." And he granted a continuance. We go back 4 months later. Well, when we go, as soon as that 4 months is up, he makes his decision that we're going to continue it. It goes in front of another judge. They didn't expect that because the law says 4 months. So it automatically kicks back in. So they had to automatically see me again. They thought they were going to get a few more months. They did, but they got it. When that was the second time. That was after the 8 months. Yeah, after that. They finally get me to court. 8 months later, they went and had my kids checked if they was ever touched. There was obviously never touched. Besides, what do you think, in your opinion, in your human opinion, they knew there was no bath assault. They knew there was no sexual assault because the FBI already investigated it, but they still went down there and took my kids, had them touched on. So tell me who really is sexually assaulted my children. Because it talks about how my daughter wanted to get her clothes on so bad. The doctor's notes talks about how bad my daughter wants to get dressed. She felt uncomfortable. So tell me who really sexually assaulted my children. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get to about 7 months into it, and I keep saying nothing. There's nothing changed in my mind. I don't care what they're talking about. All I'm talking about is the fabricated evidence of perjury that took my children. That's all I talk about. So I finally get it to the governor. Call the bondsman's office at the governor's office in Maine. The governor gets my paperwork and he promotes his top DA of the state. See, I've seen the same judge all this time. Judge O'Mara, I did a citizen's arrest on him. And he retired 2 months later. So this whole time I'm seeing this one judge. He's sitting on all of our cases. So we finally get up to trial. I walk in. He's not there. There's a new judge there. It's a new judge. I had to trial with a judge that didn't sit on the case. A come to find out, because I did some digging, it was the first case he had. It was from where the governor had promoted him to be, he was a top DA of the state. The governor, LePage, promoted him to be a family judge to sit on my trial. The only reason they took my kids, the only thing they could find take my children, justify anything, and it's unjustifiable, is that I admit to spanking my children, which I'm allowed to do. That's the only thing they could come up with, and they still took that after trial. That's what they found the findings on, that I admitted to spanking my children.
Wow. And what did they do with your? How many children was that? 3. And where did they place your? Where did they place your children?
That's what I'm getting. That's first they're placed in foster care. So listen to this.
How come not next of kin? How about not next of kin?
There was no kin up there. My mom was in Kentucky.
Okay. What about the biological mother? What about the biological mother? Why couldn't it be put with the biological mother?
Because we was together. We fought together.
Oh, so you did not think about moving out temporary while she could still keep the kids at home?
If I could do it over again, I would have. If I could do it all over again, I'm just going to snatch my kids up and left. Gonna do the damn thing.
Yeah, you're right.
But it's crooked all the way to the governor, man. We got Trump right now, putting people in jail left and right, and Pam Bondi, the governor of the United States Attorney General. I've got a governor that was crooked. So look, after they finally find out that there's no touching, they established there was no sexual abuse, nothing, right, at trial. So 8 months later, and at trial, they established that, right? Well, I come back to court. I did a citizen's arrest on a judge for because my daughter got touched. Well, it was kid stuff because the other kid was like same age, 4, 5, 6, and it was something I can't remember exactly what it was. Something about them touching each other, something. Kid stuff, baby stuff. They're baby. Anyhow, I did a citizen's arrest on a judge for aggravated kidnapping, sexual assault, a couple other things, and he put me in jail that day. Made my girlfriend at the time, my children's mother, get a emergency protection order on me because I told him, I said, I'm gonna take all this paperwork. After I went to the governor, and the governor did that, and it was crooked all the way to the governor because I put in paperwork. I'll sue him for $10 million. After it went all the way to the governor, and the governor. It was approved to the governor that these workers are fabricated evidence and plagiarized evidence to take my kids. They're still doing it. And after I did that to him, and he did that, and he sent that, after the governor promoted his top DA to be a family judge, after they found that they could take my kids because I admitted to spank them. That's what it says, spanking. I admitted to spanking them. I told him, I said, I'm going to take all my paperwork, go jump the fence at the White House and blow my brains out. That's what I told him I was going to do. So Secret Service and everything come up and talk to me. Homeland Security was involved in the beginning. They took all my electronic stuff because of all the hearsay. They found no child porn or nothing on it. Gave me my stuff back in a letter saying I was clear. So now with Trump, I need some help, man. I'll give someone 50%. I'm talking millions.
Yeah, I understand that, but you don't have the money. See, that's the problem. It's a promise, and attorneys don't work that way. If the retainer is what it is to come out to Maine, that's got to be paid first. And if the case is won and, you can take the winnings out of the money and reimburse yourself, but my attorney will not work for nothing.
What you want? That's hard.
Well, when you're going to get a chance to talk to him privately on a one-on-one Zoom consultation with Mr. Davis, because you talked on this show, and you're going to ask him how much would it cost to come to Maine, and tell him that you.
I'm not even in Maine.
I'm sorry. Where is the case? What jurisdiction is the case in?
The case is out of Maine, but that can be paperwork.
It's in Texas, is where the CPS investigated you?
No, state of Maine. It's already over with.
How's it over with you? You don't have your case. Or you just doing is your case over?
It's not over. look, when I finally, at the end, when I did that citizen's arrest, they made her get a protection order on me after we fought together for almost a year, and they made her get a protection order. The judge told me, he said, hey, if you leave the state, I'll give mom and kids back. Well, and that's after they established there was nothing wrong with my kids, no sexual abuse, no nothing. So if you leave, I'll give the kids back. I left. I went back to Kentucky. My children's mother got the kids like 3 or 4 months later. But in that 3 or 4 months, they brought all back up to sexual shit. Tried to say all that sexual shit again to make them look good.
Wow.
It's crooked. It's therapists that need to be lose their license. There's a couple lawyers that need to lose their license. It's a huge case, dude. I've been thinking about just going up to Washington, D.C. and trying to get a hold of Trump. It's that big of a case.
Wow.
It involves the profile people. So I don't understand why a lawyer wouldn't take it, because I've got the evidence. I got it. I was pro se. And when the first people that took my kids, it's all on paperwork. It's crazy as hell. First people that took my kids, she says, when they first got there, she said, I took Joey, Grace, all 3 kids to bath, and every one of them had marks all over them on their buttocks, apparently on their backside.
Wow.
Caseworker Kelsey, she says, I'm going to take the kids. We'll take the kids first thing in the morning and get them checked because there was another storm coming. Well, did they take them? The doctor establishes there was no marks, no marks, no bruises, nothing of concern. So that foster parent lied. So when I finally get that paperwork months later, because I'm pro se, I get paperwork every couple months. I'll get to pack it up, the discovery. When I get the next set of discovery, I get that and see that. I bring it to their attention. I said, this lady lied. Y'all know she lied. You've been still putting my kids in there in her home. Well, they take her out of that home, my kids out of that home, put them in another one. And about 2 or 3 months later, I get another discovery. It tells me that on the weekends for the new foster care to get breaks, they're putting my kids back in that home where the lady lied.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it's crazy, brother. It's going Fox News. It's huge. It's huge enough where I'm going to go out. I'm thinking about going to the White House. Really, really thinking about. I think it's the only option left.
Well, have you ever talked to Doge yet? Those phone numbers I gave you, did you talk to Doge, the government Office of Government Efficiency, the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE? Have you talked to them?
No, I thought they was working on saving money and shit.
They're working on social services, and CPS is a part of social services. Do you still have the numbers I gave you?
Oh, let me get a pen.
Yeah, let me give you those, because you want to really, you got to make, yeah.
I took my kid from the very beginning of the case in prison from the very beginning. I said, we don't like the Supreme Court judges. I played the right to lie case. You think you're doing your job to talk to everybody does something with words. And then your clients talk about search words. Can't be on this. They can't. Perjury and fabricating evidence was power. It's over. That's what the judge is saying. So the case is over. That's what I played in. That's why I don't think ain't this case over?
Yes.
It got crookeder after that. Oh, okay. I'm after his ass too. So I'll shit behind him. Okay,
Okay, let me get the Doge up for you here, okay? It's called the Department of Government Efficiencies, and it's doge.gov. That's the website. Now, one of the numbers I have is 202-586-4403. And that is the White House. 202 is the White House's area code.
202 what?
586-4403.
Okay.
And the other one is 1-800-DIAL-DOE, DOE, DOE.
Dial Doge.
Hold on a second. I forget those two numbers. I know it's 202 here. I have to get. The problem is Department of Energy is commingled with government efficiency, and I hate this when they do that. Hold on one second here.
Still there?
Yeah, I am. I'm right here trying to get it so they don't commingle with everything else. It seems like every time I get it, I lose them again. This government efficiency here. I'm still looking for it. Here it is. I got it. It's 202-456-1111. 4 ones. You got that, Ed?
Yeah.
All right. The second one is 202-456-1414. And you will talk to the people right away. Those are good numbers.
Awesome.
And you can tell them how corrupt the CPS is that you're fighting.
Okay. I appreciate that.
Now, do you know?
So I need to find a good attorney. I've got all the evidence. I got all the paperwork. I just need an attorney. I frame houses. I don't, you know what I mean? But I did get my kids. I didn't stop. I didn't change from how you committed perjury, fabricate evidence, take my children. I never left. I never lingered from that all the way to the end until they tapped out and said, if you leave, we'll get your kids back. So I left. They gave the kids back, and now my son is overtook. It's crazy, man. He's weighs 200-something pounds. It killed him out, man. Because I read the paperwork where my kids would come down in foster cares, run down the steps in the middle of the night, ask where dad and mom's at. It messed them up.
Wow.
Messed them up, man. They're going to pay for it, too. Because like I said, I'm on the verge of just going to the White House, sitting out with a sign for Trump. I believe he'd call me in.
Well, here's something I want to tell you right now. If you want to on talk to Vincent Davis, I want you to text me your full name, your phone number, and your email. Just those three things: your full name, your email, and your phone number. And I'll send that to my show producer Grace, who will arrange a private one-on-one consultation with you and Mr. Davis.
All right, that sounds good.
All you have to do is text me your full name, your email, and your phone number.
All right, I'll do that right now.
Yeah, that's really good there. Now, when your kids were taken, there were allegations that weren't proved. So, did they drop the case completely, or they still have a record on you?
I don't know. I just left, and I've been in limbo mode since then. I've been just now mentally getting where I can. Just now where I'm trying to get something done about it.
Okay. Because if
I found out the mom ain't got the kids. She ended up going with some guy. He had a record, and who's got my kids now is the girl that come up with set all the accusations first. Her and the in-laws. She's got my kids. She's got my kids.
Well, I'm confused. I thought you said the kids were returned to you.
No, they was returned to the mother.
Why were they returned to the mother? Because the mother was neglecting, not protecting the children, right?
No. This was after. This is all after.
Okay.
At the end, they made my child's brother get a protection order against me because we was working together. I did all the talking for court, and they knew that. So they made her get a protection order at the end and put me in jail, and that's how they brought me from jail to court, and the judge said, "Hey, if you leave, we'll give Mom the kids back." So I left. Mom got the kids back. She went back to Kentucky. She ended up going to get with this guy, and I'm trying to find out the information on that now. I'm waiting on the supervisor to call me back. My life's messed up right now, man, because of them.
Yeah, I know that. It sounds terrible.
I'm still pushing too, man. I'm not a drug addict. I smoke a little weed and drink every once in a while, but I'm still pushing through. Better than most.
Now, when you do have that meeting with Vince, make sure you prepare yourself a list of questions and prioritize the questions so you get the ones that are most important to you answered. That's really important when you talk to him.
Is he a civil lawyer?
He can do a civil lawsuit, yes.
Okay. Awesome. What time will I be talking to him?
In about a week.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate your time and on the show this morning.
Yeah, well, I hope you. Is there any other questions that you like to have? Because maybe someone else would like to talk.
No, that's it, brother.
All right. Well, thank you for calling in, Ed. God bless you. And we'll be talking down the road. Don't forget to text that stuff to me.
I'll text it now. Thank you.
Yeah. And call Doge. Call Doge.
I'm calling him right now, actually.
Okay, good. All right. I'll be talking to you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, so we had Ed, who's from the Maine area, and I guess he's in Texas now, and he's been fighting his case now, and he wants to speak to Mr. Davis, and he did that. By the way, you guys, if you are a guest on my show or call in, you get a free 15-minute consultation with Mr. Davis. It's absolutely free. Now, let's see who else we've had here. Yes, Mr. Davis will work in North Carolina. And the question you have: how do you stop from getting put on the RL list? What is the RIL list? What is the RIL list? What list are we talking about? Are you still there, cooking with CRI Senior from North Carolina? Um, you asked me what RIL is. Let me see what that could be. Well, North Carolina CPS. What is RIL? Responsible individuals list. Okay, I know what you're talking about now. You're talking about next to kin, the people that can watch your children, or they can stay with your children instead of foster care. I think that's what you're referring to. Um, what do you mean you want to stop them from getting on the responsible individual list? That's good to be on that list. That's people that can watch the children. I understand what the negativity about that is. If you're still around, please get back to me. Cooking with CER. Now, phone's live. You can call in. We had a gentleman, Ed from Maine, that called in, and so we have a room for um, 9 people on the guest list. If you want to be a guest on the show, and don't forget, being a guest or calling in gives you a free 15 minutes with Vincent Davis, private consultation on Zoom. Oh, oh. Mm. Oh, good. You're still here. I was trying to answer your question about the list. Why is it be on the list so bad for you? Cooking with SCCR, sir, senior. No, it's a list that says you can't work with children, and you can be. I never heard of that used that way. I just looked it up for North Carolina, and the CPS is called Responsible Individuals List. The use of the Responsible Individual List (RIL) is required by North Carolina statute. Agencies must follow the law, the rule, and a policy when using the RIL. The RIL is in place to ensure everyone who has caused harm or maltreatment to a child is not placed in a position to give them access to your children. If CPS determines that a person has seriously neglected or abused a child, the agency is mandatory by state of North Carolina to take steps to place the perpetrator on the statewide responsible individual list. As of right now, the R list is not available to anyone in the general public. Wow. But it doesn't make sense. You can't work with children and you can be a foster parent. I think it means you can't be a foster parent. Now I have about 20 minutes left. My show ends at 11 o'clock. So I'd love to have you go on there. Now, I had an article that is dated May 12th that I found on a website. Now, this article was published on thehill.com. It's a web based article. It was written by two doctors. And their two doctors have a background. One is, let me see if I can get them right now, bring them up right here. So, this article, thehill.com, the one person is called Dr. Melissa Merrick, who's the president and CEO of the Prevent Children Abuse America. The other one is Dr. Judy Livingston Johnson, who is president and CEO of Social Current. And she's a licensed clinical social worker with nearly 30 years of experience in the field of human services. These two individuals wrote an opinion to the White House. And the title of their opinion is Children Do Best with Their Families. And that was written on May 12th. It appeared on the May 13th. It says recently a chorus of voices in child welfare have tried to frame the growing national effort to reduce unnecessary family separation as a threat to child safety. But what about their selling isn't the truth? It's fear, and the fear fuels a system that's too often here in the way children it claims to protect. The real truth is children do best with their families. The child welfare system has far too long confused poverty with neglect. Let me see here. The child welfare system has for too long confused poverty with neglect. They say if you're poverty, you're neglecting your family. And so the CPS goes and punishes the family who are poor with separation rather than offering the supports that keep families together safely. Where's the food stamps, the clothing, the shelter, the medical, the educational? Those are the things that need to be supporting them. Now, according to federal statistics, 75% of child maltreatment causes cases involved through neglect, not abuse. Now, The symptoms of poverty: inadequate housing, food insecurity, lack of child care, or missing medical appointments. That's what's causing the problem. And CPS is not offering it. It's not a willful failure to care for a child, but a lack of resources to do so. Still, more than 1/3 of all the children in the U.S. experience a child protection service investigation by age 18. That number rises to more than 50% for Black children. These investigations are invasive, traumatic, and often lead to unnecessary separation. Yet there's little evidence that these disruptions lead to a better outcome. In fact, research shows the opposite. Now, the research shows just the opposite. The research shows just the opposite. A study published by JAMA, the Journal of American Medical Association Pediatrics, found that children placed in foster care are more likely to experience mental health issues. My son, I've seen that. Struggle in school, both my children, and encounter the criminal legal system than other peers who remain at home. So by keeping the children home with the families, they can avoid any mental health services, struggling in school, or encountering criminal legal system. Even when those peers live in similarly challenged conditions. The authors concluded that the foster care placement can compound and harm the children's. So they're struggling and they encounter all these bad things in foster care. But the children that remain at home, even when those peers live in similar challenging conditions, the authorities concluded that foster care placement can compound the harm children have already experienced rather than alleviate it. Critics often invoke child fatalities to justify the current system's punitive approach, but the data tells a more hopeful and instructive story. Child fatalities from maltreatment over the past year will remain fairly stable over the past 5 years. Experts point to preventive factors behind this trend: expanding use of early on intervention programs. Now, child fatalities from maltreatment have actually declined over the past year while remaining fairly stable over the past 5 years. Experts point to the key preventive factors behind this trend: expanded use of early intervention programs, better risk assessment tools, and increased access to basic supports like housing and food and childcare. A study on the state spending on public benefit programs found that for every additional 1,000 per family. Now, a study on state spending on public benefits found that for every additional 1,000 per person living in poverty spent on public benefits, child maltreatment fatalities dropped by 8%, rather than evidence for more surveillance. Those numbers show up when we invest in support and we save lives. The uncomfortable truth is we built a surveillance state around poor families and we call it protection. The mandated reporting system that is the center of the child welfare policy. Um, Now, the uncomfortable truth is we built a surveillance state around poor families and we call it protection. The mandated reporting system that's the center of the child welfare policy is flawed and led to over-reporting cases. Of the 4.4 million referrals from mandate reporters in 2019, half of them, 2 million, were screened out, meaning they did not warrant an investigation. And that's sad. That's really sad because you would think the professionals know what they're doing. It's the lay people I worry about. And they're the ones that complained on me and my family, made up fabricated stories for 5 years every week. Now, too often family support and child safety are held up as a false dichotomy. We can both support the families in a way that helps prevent the need for government intervention. Okay, I looked at my notes now, and that includes offering such services as home visiting, child tax credits, or housing assistance. Because the research is clear when families have access to basic support, child maltreatment declines. Consider the data in states that implemented the expanded child tax credit in 2021. Food insecurity and financial hardship dropped significantly. Second, a national study by researchers at the Mark Chapman for Healthy Development found that increases in access to concrete supports as rent assistance and utility and led to reduced involvement by child protection services. Third, a high quality home visiting programs like nursing, family partnership, and Healthy Families America led to a decrease in subsequently. Now, third, a high quality home visiting program like the Nurse Family Partnership and Healthy Families America led to a decrease of substantial reports in child maltreatment by much as almost 50%, 48%. That is great. This isn't ideology, it's evidence. It's evidence. Let's be clear. There are cases of real heartbreak and abuse. And yes, some of the children must be removed from parents for their safety. But for those cases are not the norm. The overwhelming majority of families caught up in the system are just struggling and not dangerous. And they deserve support, not separation. We also can't ignore how disproportional Black families are reported instigation and separation from their children. Studies show that even when controlling for income and type of allegations, Black children are more likely to be removed than white children. This isn't a coincidence. It's bias baked into every level, baked in every level of decision making. So I just wanted to share this article with you. I've talked about it several times, but I think it's so important for people to think that if they give them the basic needs, those children can get better and they don't need to go into foster care. Now, I want to thank you, Carmack Revenge. Thank you for coming in here. I missed you when you came in. I did not know you were in my room. You came at the tail end of the show time. Carmack Revenge, let's see what you have to say. Okay, all right. I understand what it is, or cooking with CR. It's your list there. Carmen Revenge. This is a new name for him. This is Tony the Tiger, Cassandra from Otsego County in Ornetta, New York. I love to be a guest. And cooking with CRs. You can't. Why can he not? I need to know, can I sue and how much do I sue when, because CPS took my son from my brother's house and had my parents take him when they had no warrant and nobody told me nothing. Yes, you can sue. You can sue for millions of dollars. I called Delaware County Sheriff, who switched me to Otsego County Sheriff because that's where everything happened. They in the world. Now, should I have called CS? Mind you, all my calls are recorded, so I felt safe calling them. They in turn told me they had nothing to do with my parents taking my son. They didn't tell nobody to take him. Well, someone's lying there. And I called 911 afterwards. I ended up with my son coming home with my parents. My son's CPS said him to go with my parents. Cardiac Revenge says even when the sheriffs alter anything or CPS has done anything recorded in my phone. And lastly, and by the way, this is Tony the Tiger. That's his other handle. And he's from Otsego, New York. Carmack says serving on the sheriff says it's a CPS matter. Doesn't that prove CPS did not, in fact, try to remove my son from me without my knowledge or my consent and without a warrant? Can I sue them? Yes, they violated your civil rights. They violated your constitutional rights. You can sue them, Carmack. You can. I am now getting ready to close my live stream. It's 11 o'clock. In fact, I've gone over a little bit. I want to thank you all for calling in. I want to thank Ed from Maine, who talked earlier this morning. I want to thank Carmack Revenge. Thank you very much. Cooking with CR from North Carolina. Thank you. Carmack Revenge is from Otsego, New York. He has Tony the Tiger name, and he has talked on my show there. And Cooking with CR Senior. Glad to see you back again. You had Let me see who else we have here. I think that's it. Cooking with CR Senior from North Carolina. Thank you too. So thank you all for being part of my live stream. I'll be on tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. God bless you all, and thank you so much for listening, and make sure you fight and hang on to your children. This is Bob Pace signing off until 7 o'clock this evening Pacific Standard Time.